Hey everybody, welcome to the PowerOfConnection broadcast. My name is Bob Umar. Welcome to the show. We are here every Sunday at normally 8 p.m., but actually today I'm here at 7:30 p.m. because a couple of days ago, I think on Tuesday, the month of fasting started. So I'm fasting with my family, and so we break the fast at 8:07 today. So I want to do the broadcast sooner. So 7:30, next couple of weeks I'll do it 7:30. So welcome. We're going to talk about storytelling. How does storytelling affect your thought leadership brand? And so if you're listening to this conversation, this is a chance for you to share questions below. Ask me anything. I'm going to share some tips on thought leadership branding, but also on storytelling. And if you're at PowerOfConnection broadcast, again, we want to engage you. So comment below, heart, clap, heart, all the facey things, do all that kind of stuff. Tag people, join the conversation, ask questions. That's really what I really want to do. And also, to start with, tell me where you're from. Are you from North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia? Let me know. Antarctica. Let me know where you're from, because I want to engage you people. I'm from Toronto, Canada, just so you know. And again, I was going to do two broadcasts per week, but I'm doing one so far. Sunday night seems to be the best time to do these broadcasts. And so we're going to talk about storytelling and thought leadership branding. So first off, why is storytelling important? Very simple. Storytelling is a way for you to humanize your interactions with everybody, whether it's in a team meeting, whether it's in your LinkedIn content, whether it's in a one-on-one coffee date, whether it's a Zoom meeting, whether it's with your friends, whether it's your family. Storytelling is a way that humanizes that connection. It emotionally resonates. It creates that nodding factor. And that's why storytelling across the way, we've been storytelling for thousands of years, since the dawns of time. It's how we've shared our message. It's how we shared our beliefs, our culture, our values, the things we care about. It's how we teach our children, teach our employees, teach each other. And this directly relates to thought leadership branding, which is something I'm very passionate about. In fact, thought leadership branding I define in kind of three key areas. If you want to be a thought leader in your field, whatever it is, whether it's shoemaking, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's brand marketing, what are you doing to set yourself apart as a thought leader in your field? Well, you're driving the conversations. So you're driving the conversations. You're the first people that people think of, the name that they think of, and you're innovating and creating new content, new ideas. So we break it down into three key areas. Number one, thought leadership branding is all about. Oh, geez, hold on. My son is distracting me. All right, sorry, in the middle of my broadcast. So that's okay. Kids are home. That's what happens, right? So thought leadership broken down into three key areas. Number one, relationships. So broad relationships, deep relationships, and followers. How do you maintain those connections and build those connections? Every thought leader has to think about those things. Number two, innovation of new ideas and new content. Are you creating new ideas? Are you innovating? Are you staying on top of trends? Are you putting content out there that is, I guess, heading or leading those conversations around your field? That's number two. Number three is communication skills. Always working on your speaking, your writing, your communication, your public speaking, your storytelling, all that kind of stuff. Working on that. What's interesting though is that if thought leadership is broken down those three areas, and again, if you're here and you're listening to this broadcast, comment, because I want to see your comments. Because if you are, I'm not seeing the comments right now, and I want to make sure that you guys are part of this. Say hello. Let me know where you're from. I'm gonna load up my thing again. Maybe it'll show up better. But I want to make sure you're getting this. And I want to hear from you guys and say hello to people. So let's see if people are saying hello. So come say hello and comment below. Okay, I want to hear from you. Who's here? Who's part of this conversation? Do you see this in my profile in terms of across my profile page? So let me know. Please comment. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, let's see if I'm going to put a little note here to comment below with questions and other stuff. There you go. I'm going to put that there. And now it's there. All right. So hopefully you guys are engaging with us. I do want to hear from you, and I will respond to everything. Any question you have me now for the next 25 minutes. You ask a question, I will answer the question. All right. Oh, there we go. Amanda Frucci, hello from Toronto. And Jennifer J, Texas here, represent. Okay, good. So what I was going to say is thought leadership is broken down into relationships, is broken down into innovation and new ideas and content, and is broken down into communication skills. And storytelling helps with all three of those things. So if you're a good storyteller, you're going to better have a chance of building relationships and building followers. If you're good at storytelling, you're going to have a better chance at sharing content and new ideas in a way that's easily understandable. Hello, Foz from Tunisia. All right, I like all these people are coming in. That's awesome. And then number three, if you're good at storytelling, it's basically a communication tool. So you'll be better at public speaking, better at writing, better at everything in terms of communication. So that's why it's so important. Now, how do we work on storytelling? And again, one of the reasons I'm doing storytelling today, and I want to make an announcement, is that I've been running storytelling workshops all of last year, ever since COVID started, because I'm finding that people want to do better storytelling. They want better storytelling with their teams on Zoom calls or Microsoft Teams calls. They want to do better storytelling with talking about their product or their service. They want to do better storytelling with their LinkedIn content and videos. They want to do better storytelling with their websites or their blog sites or their LinkedIn profile. And so that's why storytelling is so important for them. And on top of that, I launched a 5-day thought leadership challenge where I took people through 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1 hour per day, where I went through some of my best content in the last 15 years. And I talked about every single aspect of thought leadership branding, including mindset, confidence, storytelling, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, personal branding, all the different things you need to build a thought leadership brand. So we did it for free. It went really well. We had 160 people show up. We're doing it again. Okay, so I'll put a link in the comments at some point. But if you search, we're doing a 5-day challenge called Thought Leadership Branding in 2021. We're doing it again April 26th to the 30th, 1 hour each day. And there'll be a replay if you register. And I'd love to have you be part of it because we share a ton of knowledge. And it's a great group community there that we build up there. So one of the days I'm going to talk about is going to be all about storytelling. But let me just share with you some of the key aspects of storytelling that are really important. Storytelling wouldn't go well if you didn't know your personal brand. So knowing who you are, what you're good at, what your superhero skills are, how people perceive you, what kind of emotional experience they feel from you. And then who your target audience is, who they are, what they think, what they feel, what their pain points, what are their bliss points. Because once you have the story told to that targeted personal brand audience, that's when you get far greater results and far more resonance with your work and your services. And so people will see that, they'll love it, you're providing tons of value, and they'll want to reach out to you. They'll say, hey, I want to talk to you. I actually want to learn more about what you're doing. They'll check out your profile, they'll check out your company pages, check out your website, and that's what you want. That's what the stories do. They actually do that on a better level, which is great. And Dan says, I spend too much time taking advice from Canadians. Ha ha ha. Okay. I've also stuck a mouse in a beer bottle and tried to get a 6-pack from a manufacturer. All right. There you go. Yeah, with the jokes. I like that. That's it. And that's a short story right there. Dan is telling stories. I like that. That's awesome. So again, with stories, people struggle to tell them well. And so there's different things you want to do in terms of telling a story. Number one, you want to immerse your people, immerse your audience in the story, right? Get them really excited about being there and what's going on and who's there and how do you feel? What do you see? What do you smell? What is the kinetic aspect of the story? Feel like they're actually moving the story. That's a big part of immerse them in the story. You also want to make sure you share the emotions and share the vulnerability. I find that vulnerability is a great way to tell stories. I often tell stories on actually I told a vulnerable story on Friday. If you've seen it, go to my profile and you see the vulnerable story I shared. And that kind of stuff, drives conversations, but also people love it because they feel like you're more human. They feel like you're more authentic. They feel like you're more accessible. And these are all things that are important, right? So try to, share some vulnerability and be really open and real about who you are, what you're going through. Because we're all going through stuff. It's fine. It's totally understandable that we're all going through stuff. Oh, I see people are commenting on my Canada shirt. Yeah, well, I'm from Canada. I'm Canadian. I'm coming from Canadian, eh? Okay, so Stephanie says we have a set of those Canada shirts. Our takeaway from home while living in New Jersey. Nice. Okay, go Canada. I like that. Okay, I appreciate the Canadian love, guys. It's fantastic. Someone send me someone send me a canister of poutine. That would be great. All right. So going back to storytelling again, I really want you to ask questions. If you have questions about storytelling, about content, about thought leadership branding, about the whole things that I'm trying to do to help people, both on Clubhouse, because on Clubhouse I have a thought leadership branding club, and I'm doing a thought leadership branding 5-day challenge on April 26th. These are things I'm trying to do to help you get better. Because the truth is, you look at LinkedIn, 1% to 2% of people produce content consistently. No one's producing content. It's crazy, right? So I think more of you can be putting content out there, and more of you need to do this because it's going to help you with everything of your life, whether you're trying to get that promotion, whether you're trying to get business leads for your business, whether you're trying to, get a job after graduating from university or college. These are all things that are important. All right, so good to know. Let's keep going about storytelling. So other things about storytelling to keep in mind. So some of the greatest stories have an important opening. So I find that the first 2 or 3 lines of my story have to get my attention. So, when I wrote a story for my wife's post, she said, I lost my job after 14 years and it came as a big surprise to me. And all of a sudden people are like, oh man, I want to hear the story. What happens next? They're really curious about how that works, right? So, that's an important piece to get their attention. Every story has a good story arc. So typically what I'll do is I'll talk about something at the beginning of the story. I'll take it to the second, and I'll mention it again later in the story. And then I'll bring it back home later in the story. And I use story arcs all the time to get people to remember what I'm talking about and get them to kind of hang on. Okay, what happened to that thing that you said before? Okay, he updated. Okay, then what happened? Like, what's going on? We want to know what's happening. And the other thing I tell about storytelling is, focus on the emotions. Focus on the, showing us. Don't tell us. Make us feel it, right? Make us feel the emotion. Make us feel the ice, the cold, the heat, the look, the feel. All that kind of stuff goes a long way in terms of making your stories really stand out. Okay, and I see we have a question already. Amanda Frucci says, do you have recommendations for continuing education or certificates? Well, remind me in terms of storytelling. What I would tell you with that is I probably wouldn't do that. I think that you can learn storytelling much, much better by just taking a workshop. In fact, I'm doing workshops already. I'm doing a free workshop. Is it this week? No, I'm doing a free workshop on the 28th at 2:00 on persuasion influence through storytelling. I'm also doing my thought leadership branding course, the 5-day challenge, which is also free from April 26th to the 30th at 1 p.m. every day. And I'm also covering storytelling there. You don't need a certificate of storytelling. What you do need is practice. You need practice. You need feedback. You take practice, feedback, refinement. Practice, feedback, refinement. Start practicing. Now, I also run a workshop on storytelling itself. And, one of the things I do with everybody is I highly recommend that every single person work on building a 3-minute personal brand life story of who you are. And this 3-minute video can be amazing. It can be on your website. It can be in your featured section on LinkedIn. It can be a piece on YouTube. It can be your main thing. If you go to my YouTube channel, you go to my website, I have my 3-minute personal brand life story. It's all about who I am, what I do, why I do, who I serve, and why I love doing what I do. And that's a very powerful expression of who you are, a powerful expression of your brand, your thought leadership, and the audience that you serve. And I think that's really, really important. Okay, so try to take the time to work on that, because I think all of you should do that. Now, it also serves as a foundation for other content, a foundation for anything else about to build your thought leadership brand. It's also a foundation for maybe doing a Tedx Talk. So that's why those 3-minute brand life stories are so powerful and so great to have on your profile. So if you have a question about that, let me know. I think it's really important. But in terms of recommendations, you can take courses, you can work with people. I work with people. You can find someone else who's awesome too. It takes time, it takes practice. But what I find is when I work with people on stories, it takes time to come up with the tactics and techniques. A few things that I do that are really important for telling great stories. Number one, life mapping. So looking at your entire life in a map of every single thing that happened in your life, that's really important, because from that you'll extract not a couple, not a dozen, but literally hundreds of stories. I've told over 100, 200, 300 stories in my life about things in my own personal life. Well, that's not include the stories of other people that I talk about. So you can extract those. It just takes time. Working with somebody, you can extract all the amazing stories of your life that have that lesson, right? I mean, there's always some sort of situation. There's a crisis or a situation to resolve. There's rising action. You resolve the plot, and what are the lessons learned, and how we change as people. That's really, really important. Okay, so those are some things you want to do to try to make that. And one of the things I'll say, going back to Amanda's question about continuing education. Listen, I love education. Okay, I'm a huge advocate of education for my kids and for everybody else. But from what I've seen, continuing ed, courses don't bring in the best people, right? The best people who are delivering content, particularly around leadership development, storytelling, thought leadership, personal branding, all that kind of stuff, are external people like me, external trainers who've been around. I've been speaking around the world for the last 15 years. I've done 5 Tedx Talks. I've spoken to 500,000 people around the world or 4 continents. And I can tell you that, they don't bring us to those, they rarely bring us to those continuing ed type courses. I mean, it's rare. Sometimes they do. Sometimes you get an amazing teacher. I'll get into that, but it's rare. So, get a course that's external. There's tons of them out there. Comment below, and I can certainly share more of that. Let's see. Amanda says, I've been doing this work for a long time. I'm curious about where I can find relevant continuing ed. Well, I mean, you can find stuff. Try it out. See if you see if you like it. I'd love to see what you think. Stephanie Steve says, I love the power of 3 in storytelling. Do you use this, Bobby? Whether it's the beginning, middle, end, 3 challenges, 3 little pigs, and Kind of the Wolf. Yeah, I mean, I like the power of numbers. So whether it's 3 or whether it's 5, usually the 3 and 5 and 7 are the best prime numbers that work for stories and for content, for sure. But I think 3 is probably the most magical number I use. You'll see when I talk about a lot of things, I often use 3 in things. Even personal branding, right? I broke it down into 3 things, right? I broke it down into relationships, innovation, new ideas, and I broke it down into communication skills. So yeah, I think that's a great tool. Thanks, Stephanie, for asking that question. And it looks like Jennifer J has tried to. There you go. She's telling the top 3 stuff. I like how you're summarizing. That's great. Turn it into a post. If you like what you're hearing, comment below, share this on your own page, tag people, make a post out of it. What are the key? Like, share this on your page and say, here are the 3 biggest learnings I got from watching this broadcast. So storytelling. Well, what I'm saying with Jennifer's comment, what I'm saying is building relationships, innovation, new ideas, and content, and communication skills is what thought leadership branding is all about. And storytelling is clearly under the communication piece, but it affects relationship building and it affects innovation and content. So that's why I put that there. Thank you so much. Amanda says, awesome. Thank you. Look at the workshops. Great. Let's see here. See, Jennifer J is saying, let's see. We want stories to come to healthcare. We see humanity from the beginning to the lovely ending. Yeah. And, healthcare is really, I mean, nowadays with healthcare, like with the pandemic, I mean, you have doctors and you have patients sharing these powerful stories about what they're going through, the challenges they're having. And we as humanity, people are resonating. Not all of us, but many of us are. If you want to get a message out, that's got to be the way to go. I saw a commercial on TV the other day that showed, it told a story about these families who are gathered together as friends. And next thing you know, one of the people that was there is in the hospital because the spread of COVID. And they had another one with the young people gathering at a party. And next thing you know, one of their parents is getting COVID. And, it told the story arc all the way to the beginning, from beginning to end. And it's very powerful. It's moved. And, it's funny with stories. I'll tell a short little story. When my son was born, my first son, I was a dad for the first time. I was really, really happy about it. But when he was born, for some reason, I wasn't crying. I was just kind of like, it was just kind of surreal. I was stunned. I was surreal. Like, there was this human in my hands. It was just kind of freaky. And then I went home. My wife's still in the hospital because the baby, they had to stay there. But I went home and I saw a commercial. It was a commercial for a bank for a mortgage. And it was about this guy having a baby. And he's like, it's not about me anymore. It's about something bigger. And I started crying because I'm like, oh my God, it's so true. Oh God. And it was a commercial for mortgages, but I was just bawling because I was just like so emotionally moved by it because the story of that was so relevant to me. So stories, and I often, there's certain stories I've done, like I've been speaking about networking as a keynote for at least 15 years. And I've told the story of my cheeseburger story, and I've told my story about the networking event that I went to. I tell many stories. You can see them on my YouTube channel too, but I've told those stories literally 200, 300 times, and they get better and better each time. And I think of new things to share about those things. Now, going back to the storytelling things you need to work on. So I talked about a life map. So the life map is a way for you to map out all the different aspects of your life that are important or pivotal in your journey. And this can be many things from, your first girlfriend, your first job, the time you lost a job, the time you got fired, the time you screwed up a project, or you got an F, or that happy stuff. You got married, you had kids, you had that new job, you went on this great experience traveling somewhere. Whatever it might be, extracting those stories of your life are going to help you come up with the themes for what you want to do and help you come up with that 3-minute branded life story. The other thing I do is I'm all about frameworks. If you want to tell great stories, work on frameworks. So in my storytelling workshop, I give people 2 frameworks. One framework for telling personal brand stories that are aligned with your brand and your target audience. And then I give a framework for how to tell really emotionally resonant and resonant and compelling stories that are more likely to go viral. Or you can't guarantee virality, but they're more likely to engage and get the awareness that you want. I mean, the one that I helped my wife write, that one went viral. 3.2 million impressions, 350 shares, 250,000 likes and comments and views. It was crazy. So it can be done, but frameworks are really powerful for stories. So I'm really big on frameworks. All right. So again, this is the Power Connection chat. I'm here every Sunday. Usually it's 8 p.m., but now for the next couple weeks I'll be here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to share topics on thought leadership, personal branding, storytelling, entrepreneurship, and the Power Connection, which is my main hashtag of my 5. And today we're talking about storytelling and why it matters for thought leadership branding. And if you are joining us, comment below, share a question. If you have any questions, usually I talk and tell stories and share insights for the first 10, 15 minutes. Then I have questions. But if no one has questions, then I'm going to get off. So let me know if you're liking it, you can like, heart, club, you can light bulb, all those different things. Share the love and tag people. So if anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to take them below. Otherwise, we'll probably just sum up and let people know what's going on. That said, storytelling. Some people often say, can you storytell anything? Yes, you can storytell anything. You want to talk about data, you can storytell. You want to talk about cryptocurrency, you can storyify that. You can storyify anything. And another question I get a lot is, what about, should I tell vulnerable stories? Yes. Vulnerable stories have been shown by science and research by Brené Brown to connect on a fundamentally deeper level. And if you're selling a product, or you're selling yourself, or you're selling a service, you want to build trust with the people that are going to hire you and work with you and follow you. And so telling those vulnerable stories builds that deep, authentic connection. And I tell vulnerable stories all the time. I often talk about my weight loss challenges, my body image issues. I talk about my mental health sometimes. I talk about the entrepreneurship struggle or journey. Sometimes I talk about struggles being a dad, like a dadpreneur. Yeah, we all have these struggles. COVID has been a powerful time to tell stories about the stuff we're going through, because the truth is we're all going through a lot, and it's okay. It's okay to go through what you're going through. And it's okay to feel lost. It's okay to feel stuck. It's okay to feel unfulfilled. What it's not okay is not doing anything about it. Ask for help. It's courageous to ask for help. Comment below, ask a question. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to me. That would be a great thing for you to do, because if you do that, that's when the magic happens. And if you want to know more about what I'm doing with storytelling, thought leadership branding, I'm also doing stuff on Clubhouse. So I'm doing now this, because I have creator mode on LinkedIn, I'm now doing more videos and more live streams for sure. I'm testing out different content pieces, but I'm also doing Clubhouse stuff. So we have a LinkedIn mastery session every day at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm also hosting more stuff on Clubhouse. If you want to host something on Clubhouse, we now have almost 10,000 members in our club. You can join us. We can show you how to run clubs, how to grow your brand, grow your club on there. I think that'll be awesome. You can also reach out to me on Instagram too. So I'm everywhere in terms of where I am and reaching out to people. And I tell stories everywhere. I tell stories on all the different platforms. I mean, I think the hardest place to tell them is on Twitter, but even then you can do that too. And wow, Jennifer is asking a very branded question. Okay, so if you were to describe yourself in 2 words, what would they be? Wow, 2 words? Just 2? Wow. Okay. Well, I think the first word I'm going to use is hugger. Why? Because it tells you a lot about my beliefs, my values, how my extroversion, my willingness to connect, my willingness to create spaces that are safe, my willingness to, be affectionate, show love, empathy, compassion, caring, joy, kindness, you name it. So I think hugger is what? The second one. What's the second one? I like hugger. That's a good one. The second word to describe myself. Well, I always use a similar like connector, but I don't want to use that one. I'm gonna say it's a tough one. Hugger. What else? Hugger. 2 words. Hugger and I'm gonna go with let's see what I'm gonna go with here. I gotta think. You stumped me here, Jennifer, Jay. Sheesh. Stumped on my own channel. That's fantastic. Let's see, because I don't want to give you a throwaway word. I want to give you a really good word. Um, I'm going to say Hugger, and I'm going to say Bestie. So I'm everyone's bestie, right? I'm willing to go to bat for them. I want to support them. I'm loyal. I think those work really well. So a bestie hugger. There you go. Hugger, who's your bestie? How's that? Hope that works. Communicator, sure. Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate that. Awesome. Great questions. Another question from, let's see, Lynn is asking a question. What's your question here? Do you prefer a theme of connection? Is my phone? Connection, engagement, wonder, possibility, mystery, or something else? Oh my God. By the way, missing raspberry yogurt fruits with Philly burbs. Can't wait to cross border again. Miss Tio, thanks. Do I prefer a theme of? Well, I mean, I'm not sure what the context is, Lynn. I mean, I prefer a theme of, in terms of what? Is that for your brand, for my brand? What do you mean? Like, I'm not sure what you mean. Like, so can you maybe clarify? Those words are all great, right? I mean, they're all different things. I mean, my thing is called the PowerOfConnection broadcast, right? And if you want to, tell stories, I mean, I think the engagement or the wonder piece or that relatability or connection piece, I think is incredibly important, right? I mean, ultimately, you want people, there's a couple of things you want. Like with a story, you want them to engage, you want them to feel emotionally connected, but most importantly, this is the most important thing, you want them to learn or act, right? What are they getting from you? Are they going to act on it? What's the point of telling a story if they don't act on it or they don't learn from it, right? So I think the most important thing of the story is to have some sort of action. And that's where the magic happens, if that makes sense. Okay. Liz says maximizer. Maximizer. Thanks, Liz. That's a great one. Go, Bob. We believe in you. Thank you. Bestie is good. Okay, thanks. People are sharing some really good stuff, and I'm loving all this great information. So yeah, if you have any more questions about storytelling, please share below. Let me know. And again, I'm here every week for 30 minutes on Sundays to share my insights. You can follow my content. From a content perspective, I share usually twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. Usually around 8:30 in the morning, usually at 8:30 at night, although during this month of fasting, it's been kind of all over the place because it depends on when I get up. So now it's like maybe 10 o'clock when I post in the morning, and in the evening, and usually sometimes it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. It's like 10 and 10 now. So maybe it's changed. My content strategy this month is 10 and 10, and then 7:30 on my weekly Sunday broadcast. But part of the reason I do this is because, I want you to know who I am, what I do. What do I do? Well, I've been a professional speaker for many, many years. I've done keynotes all around the world. Now I do virtual keynotes around my topics of expertise, which include thought leadership branding, personal branding, storytelling, networking, LinkedIn, social media, digital influence, and things like that. That's what I talk about. And for me, and I coach on that too now. I now have an online program for storytelling workshops. I have an online program for personal branding. I have an online program for thought leadership branding. So if you want to learn more about that stuff and how I can help you go from loss leader to thought leader, or to help you build that brand for your business or for your career, reach out to me. Let me know. If an organization wants to hire me, send me a message. I'm happy to have that conversation and bring in some great content for you guys. Okay, more stuff. Stephanie C says, yes, action is needed. Follow-up question. How do you ask people for action on LinkedIn, Bobby? Well, yes, actually, so for example, in this video, I said, if you want to learn more about the programs I'm doing and how to get better storytelling, comment below or DM me. I've said that already. That's a call to action. You can do the exact same thing too. And let's see here. Jennifer J says, hugger equals human, unique, gets gratefulness, empathetic, real, bestie, beautiful, latest, steadfastness. I love what Jay's doing here. That's fantastic. Thanks for all that. Awesome. And then Stephanie says, how do you get follow, likes, shares, and comments? Right. So if you want to get follow, shares, likes, and comments, it's the first 2 lines of your post or the first 5 seconds of your video makes all the difference in the world for the storytelling, number 1. Number 2, that question or that call to action at the end. I mean, in the story, you create an invitation, an environment of trust and relatability and emotional resonance, and you invite them to share with you. And when you create that trust, when you go to that final call to action, say, hey, tell me your story below, or tell me your story, or share with me, people are willing to do it. Coming up with really compelling questions, and don't be very broad. Like I do it too sometimes. Like, what do you think? But even very specific questions go very well to get people to really think and to be compelled to answer the question. All right. So that's the general take I have on that. Hope that makes sense. All right. So I think at this point, we're going to end the broadcast. It's 3 minutes before my fast ends, so I'm going to probably have to do that. But if you want to learn more of what I'm doing and how I help people, please reach out to me, share us on your pages, share the top 3 or 5 insights you learned from this. Storytelling matters. It's the human connection. It's part of your thought leadership brand. And if you build a thought leadership brand, that's when the magic happens for your business, for your school, for your career, and for your life. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. Wish you guys all the best. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk soon. So long. And if you have questions afterwards, please just put the questions in the feed, even on the replay, and I will answer the questions. All right? So long.